Leadership often feels less like standing in front of people and more like carrying something, a responsibility that grows quietly but demands endurance. Many people discover that true influence isn't about authority or recognition, but how faithfully they carry the weight of responsibility over time. The metaphor of the Bama Llama, a patient, steady pack animal that stops when the load is too heavy and waits for adjustment, captures this reality. Leadership is not a sprint. It is a long carry requiring humility, resilience, faith, and relational wisdom. Leadership is about carrying weight, not flashy success. Leadership responsibilities accumulate silently. Expectations arise, problems appear uninvited, and leaders realize influence is measured by the weight they bear, the weight of decisions, outcomes beyond their control, and the impact of their tone and judgment on others. Unlike horses that run until collapse, the Bama Llama stops when overloaded, refusing to move until the burden is adjusted. This teaches leaders the wisdom of knowing their limits and sharing the load rather than collapsing under it or pretending they carry it all alone. This has been the story of my leadership evolution for many decades. I want to share this with you so that you can find your way, hopefully with less challenge and greater effectiveness than I had. I'm going to use the analogy of a llama to share some principles that embody what I have found leadership to hinge upon. And I'm going to use the term Bama Llama to represent the highest expression of what these principles entail. The term came from our family when the children were small, and I wanted to reinforce to them a recognition of high standards, and so I started saying Bama Llama. I hope you'll enjoy the analogy as it's connected in this book. I've broken the book into 4 main sections. The first one has to do with humility, relationships, and faith. Humility allows leaders to carry weight without making it about themselves. It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, rooted in a secure identity beyond performance or recognition. Relationships are the structural reality where leadership is tested. Trust built through consistent, respectful engagement sustains influence under pressure. Faith serves as an orientation, not performance. An inner anchor that steadies leaders amid uncertainty, enabling presence and clarity rather than reactive control. The second part, the inner work, self-awareness, self-management, and resilience. Effective leadership requires knowing what you bring to the room, your triggers, your assumptions, emotional patterns, and managing the pressure before it leaks into the environment. Self-awareness is a stewardship of your internal state. Self-management is regulating your responses to protect others from unnecessary strain. And resilience is the capacity to stay upright when the load shifts, built through tenacity, community, hope, and a growth mindset. The Bama Llama moves steadily because it knows its gait and adjusts its footing, embodying endurance rather than brittle toughness. The third part, leading with others, deals with followership, alignment, and shared weight. Great leaders first learn to follow with humility and integrity, recognizing that leadership is a lifelong practice of submission and service, not just bossing people around. Alignment, the courage to stay true to core values under pressure, is essential for trust and credibility. Shared weight means distributing responsibility wisely across teams, building trust through clarity, accountability, and respectful conflict. Leadership scales when the load is carried together, not centralized on one person. Becoming the Bama Llama leader means that leadership begins the moment responsibility becomes personal. The Bama Llama leader embodies character, strong enough to bear the weight without drama, strong enough to share burdens wisely, and to remain present when the terrain shifts. This kind of leadership forms integrity, nurtures relationships, and anchors faith while cultivating resilience. It is a daily practice of taking care of business, carrying what matters with humility, adding values, and doing things right. The invitation is clear. Be the Bama Llama. Carry your load, honestly, intentionally, and faithfully, knowing leadership is a long journey where endurance matters more than speed.